Hi folks, it's Katie here from Golden Palettes. Just wanted to do an introduction for your newest activity. So your activity bag, you're going to have these beautiful, really thin wood fans. We've done the paper fans before, but these are really nice, kind of like the little paddles. And what we're going to create is an activity inspired by a local artist known as Nino. I found this gallery in Coral Gables right on Miracle Mile, and he's more of a expressionistic sort of graffiti artist, and he does some pop art on top of the graffiti, so there seems to be layers of beautiful color. So we're going to do something like that, but we're going to use a little bit of decoupage, and it's going to turn into a collage with other items in it as well. So just to give you a couple samples that I've done, it just seems like a bunch of color and chaos, but there's some beauty in that there, with all the layers and everything. The sample that we're going to really focus on is this one. And this is actually a great activity because it's going to prepare us for some of the decoupage we're going to do in our next activity, which is going to be kind of elevated. We're going to be using lots of really cool items, so I'm glad we're doing this. So I'm going to run through the steps really quick. Don't panic and write it down because you're going to get a list of the step-by-step. But I just kind of want to talk you through it anyway. So the first step was I picked two colors for the background. Light colors, I recommend yellow and a very light orange or a pink. But just keep only a couple colors because you start with the light and you can get a little darker as you go on top. So it's just a yellow-orange background kind of swirled together. It doesn't have to be perfectly symmetric, just kind of put it on there whichever way you want. The second step is you're going to have a little bag of collage materials, is a little bit of newsprint. It doesn't matter really what it says because it's going to be hard to read with all the layers, but just to get those little words in there is really interesting in the background and it gives it depth. So you're going to get some glue in your package, and I want you to mix it in a little cup 50-50 with water because you're going to create kind of a Mod Podge, so it's not so goopy when you stick on the newspaper. It's just kind of it's going to be a little more seamless onto the wood if you add the water to it. So the next step is get your newspaper on there, brush it on, and you can let these dry in between steps, or you can keep moving forward. And the as it's wet and the paint's going to blend a little more, but it will be interesting as well. So the third step is you're going to have markers in your little bag, and I just did like an orange or a pink and a green, some bright colors. And this is always the hard part because we don't usually put words and letters into it, but I want you to pick like a lucky number, and you can use a different style of writing for each one. I did a 3 here, and then across at an angle I wrote my last name and my first initial, Penner K. I mean, it's just really getting words in there and just kind of making it look very urban and graffiti-like, so it doesn't matter what you put. You can pick anything. So that was going in at an angle, and then going the other way at another angle, I just wrote Gator masala, just a couple cooking items that I've used before. But you can really pick anything. You can pick the name of a song, or some family members' names. Over here I wrote love, again using markers. So we're using all these different materials, which is fun as well. So right after that step, what I did is got the paint out with one of my thinner brushes and I picked a shape. I like the swirls, so I did a couple swirls. I think I did like 4 of them, and just added those in there just to create a little movement. And then lastly, you're going to have this paper. I'd like to have just a random item in there, and because we're using just shapes and newsprint, I wanted to put something natural in there, so I did little butterfly cutouts. So it's really small. You're going to use the decoupage again technique and just kind of glue it on there. And then after that dries, this is where you really get that pop. This is where you're going to use some black because it's really going to stand out and give it shadow. So I just painted the whole thing black, let it dry, and started getting some pops of color in there. So this is kind of the foreground, and it stands out from all that layer and layer and layer in the back. It's kind of like when you're a kid and everyone puts their hands on top of each other. It's just layer after layer. After I was done kind of designing it, I just did a little bit of outline just to give it some more shape. so it kind of bumped it out a little bit, so it became a little bit bigger. I did a couple outlines, one in white, one in blue. And then lastly, I took a Q-tip just to fill in some, some random areas of dots. I love just shapes in the background too. And it just created this nice design. And you're just practicing your layering technique as well as collage. And this is going to come in really handy next month. And we are going to have a lot of fun. So I hope you enjoy this. The back of the fan has a little bit of a shape, a flower shape on there. And you can just paint that a solid color, or you can have fun and just do a design on the back. I just really wanted you to practice on one side the collaging effect. So I hope to see you all soon. Enjoy this, and I will definitely see you next month for our other project. Thank you.